So this is the Toyota Funbee. It was actually shown as a working prototype at the Tokyo Motor Show 2 or 3 years ago, actually. What if the exterior of a car can become an LCD display and become location-based advertising like that?
Я уже говорил о проблеме, что очень маленький пирог, и очень много людей хотят от него откусить одновременно. И это действительно не нужно никому вообще. Ну, потому что неинтересно зарабатывать маленький процент, интересно работать с реальными большими деньгами.
Also, after this, I suppose you like it, and you will become our full-feature client. If you're just individual, you, like me, like developer, for example, you can try something interesting and make an app, for example, to pay to all your family's cell phone accounts. And with help of our SDKs, it can take just 10-15 minutes.
Люди не могут проводить в вашем приложении больше, чем 5 секунд за сессию. Просто не могут. Устройства другие, приложения другие, функции другие и так далее.
Let me introduce iPhone 20. There's no more phone in a couple of years, right? We're going, if you follow what I said, we probably have contact lenses in a better quality what we have right now. Just think 5 or 6 years ahead. The microphone is maybe an implant in our nose. The BCI thing, which is this big thing from Dentsu, is maybe just a tattoo or is somehow implanted. After LTE, which is just getting deployed around the world, there's IMTA is the next version, 5G, 10 gigabyte per second. 10 gigabyte per second.
Good morning, dear guests. I'm happy to see you all here. Really a lot of people who woke up at like 7 in the morning and came. And on the behalf of all organizers, I just want to thank you that you are here, gathered and came here to listen to our awesome speakers whom we gathered from all over the world and who are going to tell you a lot of new things, deliver a lot of presentations about mobile development, about mobile advertising, about a lot of interesting things. So first of all, there are some organizing moments that I wanted to tell you in case you didn't heard them before. And the first one, if you do not speak Russian, either English, you can go to take those devices for lifetime translation. And I think that everybody took them already. So if you just didn't, they are right there at the reception. And also, we're going to have today a couple giveaways. And the first one going to start right after the first speaker comes here. We're going to give some prizes for the best questions. These are branded T-shirts of MBLT. They're really, really nice. They're really beautiful. And I will just show you them a bit later. So for the best question, we're going to give them to you. And about another one, I'm going to tell you before the lunch. And also, the next thing that I wanted to do, just want to thank Opera, PayPal, IT Internet, Avia Sales, and Digital October and Media for supporting us, for making this all happen. And to keep it short, I want to invite here CEO of our company, organizer of Illegion, Roman Beloded, to tell us the welcome word. And also I have Vasilisa here, who's going to open the presentation. And Vasya, do you remember?
Мы начинаем MBLT.
Молодец. Okay. Roma, please.
Hello, everyone. Пойдем? Будешь сидеть? It's a beautiful woman. It's our talisman. Thank you, everyone, to come here. I'm really glad to see you, all of us there. I don't take a lot of time. I just want to say about one important thought. We are on the edge of our industry of information technologies. If you think that we just make first steps to mobility, you are mistaken. Dozens of different kinds of mobile devices already released. Thousands of different mobile devices in the process. Millions of mobile applications already released. and millions in the process. We already overcome a point of billion users of mobile devices. This number is so complicated that our mind can't perceive it. Exactly this blows the mind away. And it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And who except us can implement these fantastic things in reality. That's why we create this conference. We don't want to make lectures from our speakers. We want to inspire you. We gathering awesome speakers from the greatest companies. And this fact itself inspires us to make our conference even amazing. So just relax, enjoy, and be inspired. And after you get inspired, just act. That's all. One more thing. Don't wait to begin. Don't wait too much to begin. You can begin tonight at after party.
Okay. Thank you, Roman. Вася, are you going to stay here? Ты будешь сидеть здесь? Будешь сидеть здесь? Молодец. Okay, so we have our mascot who stays here. And not to take a lot of time, I just want to welcome here the first speaker, the Vice President of Business Development EMEA of Distimo, Rичард Пиджон. Please welcome.
You gonna stay? You gonna stay? Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for that welcome. Thank you to everyone from E-Legion for organising such a great event. Hopefully you're all going to take on board some really good speakers coming through today. I've been asked to sort of set the tone for the day by... First of all, I need this. By giving you a little introduction, setting the tone, giving you some numbers behind the app stores, where the money's been generated, and then I'm going to show you sort of where the global numbers are from the app stores, drill down into what's happening within the Russian market, and then I thought that I'd give you a little bit of competitor insights that might be relevant to some of the speakers later on today. So first of all, a bit about Distimo. I don't know how many people have heard about Distimo. If you can raise your hands if you've heard of Distimo before. So a few. There's a few people here. So Distimo, we provide tools and services for developers and publishers to help them track their download numbers, their revenues, their ratings and reviews from all of the app stores. So not just iOS and Google Play, but from GetJar, what was GetJar, BlackBerry, Windows Phone, Windows Store. So it's tools to help you guys out there do your jobs more effectively. We also have some other free services that we offer to developers to help with conversion tracking so that you can see exactly where your users are coming from. So lots of free services. We have publications, monthly publications, that have some really useful insights, and some of those I'm going to be sharing those with you today. And then we have an API available to get all of that data if you've got any back-end services to see your data. Okay, so just to tell you how we get the data, we've got currently about 30,000 developers where we're tracking their download numbers and their revenue numbers from the app stores. We are then overlaying that with the publicly available data from the leaderboards, and we're running some algorithms to work out exactly the estimates for the numbers behind the leaderboards. So first of all, I just wanted to sort of go back to what was happening 12 months ago. And you can see that North America was still leading the way with the revenue. About 35% of the revenue share was still coming from North America. Asia was catching up very quickly and had 34% of the revenue share. Moving on 12 months, you can see that Asia has overtaken North America. Now, 45% of revenues from the app stores are coming from Asia, and that's really helped with the acceleration of the revenues from Japan and South Korea, and lastly, we've seen Taiwan generate some really good numbers from Google Play. So which countries in particular are generating the revenues? So still predominantly is US and Japan. They're leading the way by some way, and then you can see South Korea, China bringing up the way in third and fourth place. And interestingly, China, we're only tracking revenues from iOS. So we don't actually have any revenues from Google Play because there isn't any revenues being generated in China for Google Play. Russia is in 11th spot as far as the revenues that are being generated. And then you can see all the other normal countries that you'd expect further down the line. So which countries are growing quickest? So as I mentioned, I've lost my friend. How's that boring? So yeah, South Korea, China, Japan are where the fastest rate of growth has been year on year from February 2013 to February 2014. But you note that Russia's there in fourth spot as far as revenue growth is concerned. And you can see the more established countries are on the right-hand side of the graph here, and it's obviously their revenues are that much higher, so the rate of growth is less than some of the emerging markets. And I think what you're going to find in 2014 is seeing some revenues that are being generated from the Brazil, Middle East, North Africa regions. We're seeing a lot of interest in those areas, so I think that's something that we'll be looking out for in 2014. So this is just taking a look at the varying platforms, the different shifts in platforms globally. From one extreme, you've got Korea that are generating 88% of the revenues from Google Play, through to Russia where 45% of the revenues are coming from iOS. So there is a big discrepancy between different parts of the world where the revenues are being generated. So it isn't a case of a one size fits all. It's a question of know your markets. If you've got an iPad app, if you've got an iPad app, then you need to look at where your market's coming from. So taking a little bit of a local insight, I thought I'd look at the Russian market and the different business models around the app stores and how they vary from category to category. I'm sure you all know that the games, all the revenues are coming from the freemium model. In Russia, this is 80% of the money is coming from the free apps with in-app purchases, which is actually less than a lot of parts of the globe where that's higher. And it does vary from country to country. So let's take the navigation category. In Russia, it's fairly evenly split between free apps with in-app purchases and also the paid model. And that varies from, in Germany, for example, it's much nearer 65% of the revenues are coming from paid. So it does vary from category to category, from country to country. Newsstand's another example. It's a massive 99% in Russia, and that is a different case in different countries. So it is a question of it isn't one size fits all. It's know your market, look at the countries you're going to be publishing in, and which platforms you're going to be publishing on. Okay, now taking a bit more of a deeper dive into the Russian market, looking at the different categories. I've excluded the games category because, I thought that everyone was always talking about the revenues that are being generated from games. This is excluding the games category and looking exactly where the variation between the platforms and categories are concerned. So you can see that social networking is the leading category on iPhone. And you've got Viber is the number one app on generating the most revenue for social networking, with navigation in third spot with Navitel app, and then the streaming service is in top spot for the entertainment category for iPhone. So moving forward to look at iPad, it changes dramatically. So you can see that entertainment is by far and above the best performing revenue category on iPad. So that's obviously because people are looking at a different amount of content and how they actually look at their content. But social networking is back down in 10th place for iPad's revenue. Moving across to Google Play, you can see that travel and local is the best performing app within this category, and I think that's Navitel as well as the best performing app. So again, it's just highlighting how the different platforms vary in different countries. So please make sure that you're aware of what's going on within the different categories and the different countries, so that you can help with your marketing strategy. Okay, so I just thought we'd take a bit of a look at how people are using competitive data and how what they're looking at. And I don't know if you've heard. I know Andy from SoundCloud is going to be speaking later on. There are a few rumours, mutterings about SoundCloud, and I'm sure he will deny or confirm any of them. But I thought I'd take a look at how SoundCloud has been performing. I did, I promise. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so this is looking at SoundCloud's performance over the last sort of 18 months and comparing their iOS performance versus their Google Play performance as far as download numbers is concerned. This is for all countries across the board. So the pink line is their iOS app, and the blue line is the Google Play's app. And you can see that they launched the Google Play app in about September time, and it was lagging behind the performance of the iOS app. But I think about 6 months ago, and Andy will sort of verify this later on, that they're now having far better performance on their Google Play app than they are on iOS. And then I just give you a quick example of how people are using data to compare different apps. So this is comparing SoundCloud with Spotify and looking at which countries. So this is comparing Spotify and SoundCloud. So you can see where Spotify is outperforming SoundCloud and where SoundCloud is outperforming Spotify. So the blue coloration is SoundCloud, and the pink coloration is for Spotify. So I think it's fair to say that Spotify is outperforming SoundCloud in the more established countries, so obviously US and Europe, where SoundCloud is outperforming Spotify in the sort of emerging markets in Indonesia, Brazil, and India as well. So, and here in Russia as well. So that's just an example of how companies are using sort of data to see, looking at competitors, see which countries they're performing best in. So if you're going to release a similar app to SoundCloud, then this is the sort of information that you can find out. And I think that's it. So if you don't know much about Distimo, go to the website. There's an awful lot of free resources available to you where these type of insights we do. We've just released a publication on the different categories within Google Play and the effect that changing the categories has had on different apps. So it's really interesting. We've got some free webinars and those reports in our blogs. And then also there are free services that you can sign up for that help you do your job each day. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody.
Do you have any questions?
Excellent.
Okay. Thank you, Richard, very much. I think that we should give more applause. I just checked Twitter and Instagram, and I see that you are tweeting a lot, but not all of you are using the hashtag. In case you didn't guess it yet, it is MBLT 14, so please use it. We'd like to learn the feedback from you and what you think about what is happening right now on stage. So, and the next speaker, just let me introduce you the Business Development Director of SPB TV, Dmитрий Филиппов. Please, Dima.
I will sit down if that's okay. Well, I'd like to share our point of view on video trends in video consumption. SPB TV is one of the leading providers of end-to-end OTT and IP TVs and mobile TV solutions. We also have a B2C service with over 200 channels that are available for free or by subscription. Every year we invite our users to participate in a survey, which allows us to compare the preferences of Russian-speaking audience representing Russia and CIS with the global trends. Over the last 2 years, our observations have revealed the same results. Android is the absolute leader on the smartphones and tablets. Our survey data confirmed by SPB TV statistics, and we discovered Android has reached 45%, and its users are more active than users on iOS. Our application is available on Symbian as well, but that system popularity is now fading. It's also interesting to note which factors determine which of the operation system when people buy a new device. In other terms, the question is, what is more important, technology, operating system, or functions? More respondents pay attention to functionality, 30%, and availability of applications, another 30%, as well as user-friendly design. But that is only reveals that people are buying goods because of the brand. The majority still do so everywhere. However, there is another factor influencing the choice of the system on a new tablet. It is primarily determined by the OS already being used on the owner's smartphone. But it's not evident that the trend will remain in future. On the other hand, fewer and fewer people are responding that they do not have a tablet. It's now 25% against 37% in 2013. But we should note that one more difference between our users and the global user base. As we already said, according to different statistical sources, Android is the most popular OS on mobile devices. But many observers point out the rising popularity of tablets using Windows 8 because of their good price, quality of interface, and other advantages. The assortment of devices that people use to watch is still rather varied. We have seen an increase of video consumptions on smart TVs and mobile devices. There are more people using them, and the duration of average session is now 3 times longer than just a couple of years ago. But home TV, cable and free-to-air remains among the leaders. Various changes in video consumption influence one another. Users have different preferences, multi-screen, high speed, better price quality factor, and more. Their preferences are influenced by new technologies and, in turn, influence the content of video service and of the channels broadcasting online. This content is the main consumption factor and determines what people would watch. This table gives us detailed information of how long viewers usually watch TV and video online. Smartphones and mobile phones are especially adapted for short viewing periods, while bigger screens would seem to suggest that viewing sessions would be longer. However, data for mobile smartphones and tablets are essentially the same as for stationary PCs and TVs. This confirms that mobile video viewing is now accessible, convenient, and will continue to develop. Giant steps have been made since the appearance of the first iPhone in 2007. Nowadays, mobile devices support HD quality. The bit rate for 3G goes up to 3.6 megabits per second, for LTE up to 300 megabits per second. The problem is that existing networks are not ready to support such speeds, but they will get there. The answer was hardly surprising when we asked our users which device for watching TV and video they would abandon first if they had to. The PC would be rejected by the majority of people, and TV took second place. This result reflects the choice of our average user, who prefers mobile devices. Viewers make a deliberate choice for mobility. But around the world, people aren't ready to abandon anything. All devices are showing increasing figures. Another important viewing factor is the attitude of users to piracy. Almost half, 45%, answered they try to watch only licensed content. Another significant set of viewers don't care about legality, but they have their reasons for that. As we see on the next diagram, just on the bottom, most of our viewers are not ready to pay at all or pay much for content. Some of them think that pirated content is easier to find or watch. The challenge of video services is to persuade people that higher quality for a moderate price is a good solution. But we also need effective working legislation for the protection of author rights. Today, people are more informed about the industry than just 3 years ago. At that time, there wasn't any legal online access to the most popular top television series that are well known in Russia. Users have come to understand that if they don't pay to view now, studios will not have enough funds to produce new series of the same quality in future. We see concurrence between video service, and no doubt it is a positive trend. I would compare it with making a choice between buying a car between a car dealer and buying just from a stranger. A car dealer is more expensive, but you get the quality service. Some years ago, professionals eagerly discussed the prospects of so-called second screen. Now, the interest is fading because of the non-effectiveness of the advertisements on them. The second screen distracted viewers from the first one, so investments in such technologies turned out to be non-effective. We asked our users about conducting various activities on the same or different screens while watching, and we see the majority of the activities are conducted on other devices. Some people chat, send emails, there are individuals who work and study, and, well, many other interesting things they could do on the internet, if you know what I mean. But why do they need another device? Let's see. The screen of smartphone is too small to combine two actions. It's uncomfortable and inconvenient. The same problem can be found on a tablet. PC is more adapted to combine different tasks, but it doesn't facilitate viewing. As for TV, generally it has no function to combine tasks, so it's not in consideration. However, the integration of interactive functions on the first screen is a good solution to providing viewers with new experience and to achieve advertising objectives.
And the next speaker came from Berlin, from a great company, Deutsche Telecom, and he's global business development and venturing. Please meet Jozef Norona.
First of all, it's quite awesome to be here the first time in Russia, and I hope this is the first of many more trips. I guess most of you all know about Deutsche Telekom, and many of you all know the B2C side of the business. That's all what we stand for. But maybe not all of you all know that we are perhaps even bigger B2B and an enterprise company as compared to just the B2C company. And what I would like to talk about today is a paradigm shift in the way we are doing business, which has started about 2 years ago, and where we came from and where we are going for, and perhaps potential opportunities to engage with interesting partners in the Russian market. So the idea was, well, a really long time ago, and really long is perhaps even 5, 6, 7 years ago, the operators were these big lumbering giants. And today, there are some operators around the world, like, let's say, localized markets like Japan or America Mobile, who still have this opinion that we are the big heavyweights. People have limited choices, so maybe a few years ago, your only choice was your phone going to be yellow, black, or green? There weren't many options. So if you wanted a phone, there was one company or maybe another company. If you wanted broadband, there was one company or another company, and limited choices. And during that time, what I would say, building stuff, building anything was expensive. It required a lot of people, a lot of talent, and really long lead times. So therefore, telcos and big players with their massive workforces were the ideal prospects to do something like that. So the mantra then was, build it, shove it down their throats, and people will buy it. And well, we did quite well. Let's move on. Maybe this way. Let's move to today. The consumer, whether we're talking about Germany or whether we're talking about Albania, and frankly speaking, whether we're talking about Nigeria, the consumer is much better educated. He has a choice. He can buy a smartphone from the iPhone, paying 500 euros. He can buy one from Huawei for around 40 euros. And I've been even told something around 30 euros exists. He is better educated. He's smarter, has many choices. And there's this thing called the internet, which is running circles around us. So sometimes we literally feel that we are a tanker, a big oil tanker. These things really don't sink so fast, but they don't really turn so fast. So we have these little speedboats running all around us. And we can just look at them, and they're just gone. And there's a new trend. By the time we look at that trend, there's another trend. And therefore, the old mantra of pushing something and the user accepting it doesn't hold anymore. What is the result? And these newspaper clippings are from some time ago, and they appear nearly every day. All of these companies are billion-dollar firms. They have normally singular products. I was talking to Andy of SoundCloud yesterday. They have 250 engineers just working on one proposition. I had a chat with the guys from WhatsApp. There are only 51 engineers in February 2014, and a fantastic valuation. One product, one app, with 1/4 the valuation of Deutsche Telekom. So these are all big heavyweights, but are very lightweight, nimble, and focused. And every operator feels the pressure. We're talking from the big dogs like China Mobile, who are thrice our size, to our dear competitors from Telefonica, who had to restructure their business, to even us. For the longest period of time, we had businesses such as games load with games, music load with music. And while we spent millions of dollars developing the platform, nobody was using it, or fewer and fewer people. And at that time, we sat back and thought, are we doing something wrong? Are we just trying to push, and there isn't any consumer acceptance? And therefore, 2 years ago, there was a shift saying that we are not the best. Our consumers, our end customers want the best. So what do we do about it? And that's where DT made a conscientious decision to change the strategy. What you see there are the 4 pillars of the current DT strategy. And 3 out of the 4 are infrastructure-based. cloud services, gigabit society, customer experience. But one key component has been added there of winning with partners. This is a realization of that we need to be relevant. We have partners who are better than us. And rather than compete with them, perhaps it's best to cooperate with them. And to make this really tangible to everyone, would like to give you a few examples of what we are doing. Let's take the case of home. Everyone believes that the smart home would be the thing of the future. So we said, okay, we could start developing smart home products, but maybe nobody buys it again. So let's try to develop a smart home platform. Because what are the big problems? The problems are of interoperability, different standards. So rather than having multiple products from us, we'll say, let the partner provide the products. Let Belkin provide the cameras. Let Philips provide the lightings. Let Miele provide the washing machine. We want to be the Amazon marketplace, the Amazon infrastructure on where everyone else's product sits on. And since we were not even sure whether this was something we wanted to do, we literally spun it off as an independent entity called KiwiCon. Let's look at another example in the cloud space. And when we talk to partners, we always look at 3 dimensions. Is there a benefit to our end customer? Is there a benefit to our partner? And is there a benefit to us? So let's take the case of Evernote. If you are a DT customer these days, you get Evernote Premium for free for 1 year. So that's a customer benefit. How do we benefit? Evernote is a big brand. It's a partner through which we can move our notepad solutions. And after 1 year, if the consumer continues on a premium subscription, we have a rev share. Now, what's the partner's benefit? Why is he working with us? We give him reach. We have markets all the way from everything everywhere in the UK and the US, right down to Macedonia. More than 14 countries. We give you reach. We pre-install you on our devices. A benefit for every person in the chain. Let's look at another example, security. Funnily enough, most of our partners were brought along before the NSA crisis, so they're all American partners. We are now anticipating and looking for European partners who are more conservative in nature. But we have partners such as Norton, and look out for mobile security, mobile device insurance, both fixed and now even moving towards enterprise security. Finally, things which everyone loves, and we have, I think, our dear partner from Spotify here. We have a partnership with Spotify. We also have a partnership with Deezer. So it's not like once we have one partner, that's it. We want to give the customer the choice to choose. And again, let's take Spotify as an example. If you buy the Spotify bundle in Germany, it doesn't count towards your data usage. So you can literally stream all you want 24/7, and you just pay one fixed price. Benefit to the consumer, to us, and to Spotify. And if you think that all our business has to do with some connectivity, you could be darn wrong. Let's take the case of speakers. I hope some people of you all know Jawbone. So they make these nifty little speakers. And when we started off, people wondered, why exactly is a telco company going into the business of speakers? So we said, well, it fits in our connected life ecosystem. We don't really want to be a telco company. We want to be maybe a digital lifestyle company. Rather than giving you some figures, I'll give you an idea of how good the business is. We started with one speaker, Then we said, okay, let's get 3 different speakers in the 3 different price categories. Now we have speakers from 3 different manufacturers, and then said, okay, let's go to the next step. Let's go into lifestyle devices, a very growing category. High margin, benefits for all. So another area where we are interested. So what does this all come down to? What do we promise the partner? Where do we want to work with the partner? It's the first of making it simpler and easier for the partner to work with us. This means simpler processes. No longer do you have an 80-page contract, which in Germany is actually quite a short contract. We try to do it in under 10 pages. Our best achievement has been a company called Magisto out of Israel, where we managed to close an MOU within 2 weeks. So that is quite fast for a big company such as us. Technical enablers and business enablers, helping you go to market, helping you to integrate as seamlessly as possible. The entire buzzword around this is called Steckerleiste, which is a German word, and I only figured out what it means. It's called plug and play, and that's why they always use the power strip. You can plug in a partner, plug out a partner, as simple as it is. The second benefit is to increase access. In the end, we are an infrastructure provider. What we want to do is increase usage, increase access, that people use services such as Spotify, such as Evernote, such as Lookout on our services, on top of our platform. That's why I said we would love to be the Amazon of Europe and provide additional benefits such as billing, customer service, additional support, which perhaps a smaller player will not be able to provide. And finally, we really operate in what we could call the United States of Europe. And Europe is actually quite a different market from the US. The US, you get it once, you can roll it out, east to west coast. But Europe, the Netherlands is very different from Albania. Poland is very different from the UK. And we understand these markets. We have local support in each of these markets. So what we help you by standardized processes to help you roll out across the European footprint in one shot. You sign a deal with us. If you are one of those companies who has a mature product, has something interesting for a telco, is best in class in your category, and you'd like to use a firm such as DT, who is interested in partnering across the board and reaching scale and helping both of us to win with partners. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You can put it there. Does anybody have questions? Oh, okay. Everybody's still sleeping. Okay, thank you very much, Joseph. Please applause to our speaker. And to encourage you to ask questions, I will show you T-shirts that we're going to give for the best questions. This one, let's say, a bit more official. And I have one more. Okay, well, I have them like 20. But other type is like this, with the Princess Castle, or whatever you call it. So let's say not in a strict version. So if you like them, you can win them. And they're limited, by the way, so not everybody can have them. And the next speakers I'd like to invite here is gonna be an interview, and it's gonna be the Senior Vice President of Products of Opera, Christian Calandra, who will be interviewed by CMO of Linko, Olga Steidel. But before them, there is like a small surprise for you, so please, all your eyes are on the screen.
Hi, I'm Lars Boilesen. I'm the CEO of Opera Software. I'm really sorry I couldn't be with you today, but my colleagues, Christian and Vadim, will show you the latest and greatest from Opera software. Mobile technologies is the driver to achieve global development. At Opera, we always played a very important role, and we were also a key enabler to allow people to access internet via mobile phones. And not only smartphones, but also low-end phones running on a very slow network in these emerging markets. We have today 280 million mobile users using Opera mobile browser every month, and the majority of them are in these huge markets like India, Indonesia, where Opera, for 3-4 years ago, became the cheapest way to access internet. Today, 75% of all phones, smartphones, are being sold in Asia and Africa, and that will definitely change something going forward. I think also in this context, it's interesting to see how kids easily relate to tablets and iPads compared to how they relate to PCs. So there's no doubt that emerging markets has completely bypassed the PC adoption and went straight to smartphones. Going forward, I think we will see very interesting development, particularly around smart apps. Apps which will know what you're doing instead of you having to tell them what you want to do. A bit like you see in many interesting applications like fitness trackers. They know what you're doing and you don't have to give them information. It can also be apps like you can control your home with an app on your smartphone from Tokyo, for example. Another thing I can see in the future is basically development of smart apps, which are based on big machinery, big data, and sophisticated analytics, which will in general help you to complete tasks. Think about Siri from Apple, which actually could be a real personal assistant if it helped you complete tasks and not just help you to find information. This could, for example, be before you go to bed, you will tell Siri, please book 2 tickets to San Francisco. And then while you're sleeping, it will actually complete the task and not just look for information. That's it for me now. Now I'll give the word over to Christian Colondra, who is leading all engineers, all technologies at Opera. And he will now show you how Opera is taking part in this very interesting future we have ahead of us on mobile.